Welcome to the Wednesday stream. It is 9:30 p.m. and we are going to get started with the program. We'll give people a few minutes to trickle in and then we'll make a cut and start in with the main topic. So if you haven't jumped into chat yet, if you're watching and you aren't a subscriber, you have to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes to participate in chat. And you know how these things go. The more the merrier. And we are just here to have a good time, talk about some gadgets, and we'll get to talking about Meshtastic in the second part of this fun tonight. So, hopefully some people start coming in here pretty quick. I'm going to take a look at my notes here real quick. And I'm going to do this and this. Okay, that's not exactly the way I wanted that to work, but we'll go with it. Let's see. A little bit more housekeeping, and then we'll see who's going to show up tonight. Hello, YouTube. Are you out there? Okay, well, we're going to get started anyways. So the topic for tonight is, the first topic for tonight is small gadgets and accessories that can make your life a little easier. And so we'll get started with our first item. I'm going to go over to the book scanner / document camera. So this first item is a SATA to USB cable. This is meant for 2.5-inch solid state drives. It's rather inexpensive. It is currently going on Amazon for $7.99. And it appears there is a 6% coupon, at least here in the States, as of February 21st, 2024. Your mileage may vary. I will put a link, an affiliate link in the chat here momentarily. One of the things this particular item has been suggested for is if you want to hook a 2.5-inch solid state drive to a Raspberry Pi or other computer. It's also handy to have in your go bag if you're doing repair work out in the field. So, e-uled SATA to USB 3.0 adapter cable. For 2.5-inch hard drives or solid state drives. While it will connect physically to a 3.5-inch drive, you're not really going to get the power to push one of those without another power adapter, which this doesn't give you the option for. All right, so let's take that off for the moment. Let me go to my second item. The second item is, take it out of the packaging. It's a pair of Cable Matters HDMI couplers. So female on both sides. These are rated at 8K at 60 Hertz, HDMI 2.1 with HDR 48 gigabit per second. And these are going for $7.99 on Amazon as of February 21st, 2024. And there is an affiliate link going into chat. All right. Well, hold that thought again. I need to check on something because I just want to make sure that we are actually live. Hello and welcome to... So, because it's awful odd that nobody has joined yet. Live. Well, is this not... Okay. Whoops. All right. Good evening, David. My apologies for the little mishap here. I've been broadcasting since about 26 after 9, but I had the video set to private. So we'll see if some more of our regular people come into chat or not. And we will basically go back and start over. So, yep, that was my fault. I initially had this set to private because I scheduled it in advance without a thumbnail, and when I added the thumbnail, I didn't change it to public, apparently. No, it wasn't, because I've got the phone I've got the phone turned down, the volume turned off on the phone and it facing down, so I did not get any notification from the signal. All right, so we'll start over again, and I guess I'll have some trimming to do at the beginning of the video. We have David Grishko here. We've got Joe here. My C Prince is here, having another late night with us from over in the UK. And TVJ is here. So, yes, I did see your comment. I had changed it, and it apparently did not save the change I made. So, because once I saw your comment, I made a point to change it, and it did not save as I had expected. So, all right. So we'll start over. Welcome to this Wednesday evening stream. Tonight we're going to talk about some gadgets that are useful to have around. They're inexpensive, readily available on Bezos Mart, aka Amazon. And if you're a tinkerer or a technician that has to fool with computers of friends and family, then some or all of these devices may come in handy for you. So, I'm going to jump back to my notes here real quick and grab my first affiliate link. And we'll try this again. All right. So, I'm going to go over to the other camera. And the first device is a nice little USB 3 to SATA adapter. This is useful if you are having to work with other people's drives, 2.5-inch drives specifically. Or perhaps you've got a project with a Raspberry Pi. These cables are often used with the Raspberry Pis previous to the release of the Raspberry Pi 5, which has an optional NVMe hat. So these adapters are going for $7.99 US on Amazon with a $6 coupon. So you can get it for a few pennies off and save a little bit of coin, literally. All right, so the next item, this comes as a pair. This is also going to be $7.99. This is a pair of cable matters, 8K at 60 hertz, HDMI 2.1 couplers. And they will also do 4K at 240 hertz. So obviously, they're being a coupler, it's female on both sides. And again, these are going for $7.99 on Amazon. And give me just a moment and I'll throw the affiliate link in the chat. All right, there's that. Next up, we have a set of 4. Now they taped these. Give me just a minute. I don't have much in the line of fingernails, and I don't have a knife handy, so take me just a minute to peel this tape off. This is actually my second set of these. So I'll take that off. And what you've got here is a set. It's 2 USB Type A to Type C and 2 USB Type C to Type A adapters. And these are going for, you guessed it, $7.99 on Amazon. There is a $5 coupon, at least for those of us here in the US of A. And we'll get you an affiliate link here in just a moment. All right. So there's those. All right, and what do we have next? Next up, we have a package of, you probably can't tell what those are in the packaging, but these are USB Type-C dust plugs. And these are going for the low price of $3.43. Oops. And there's a link, an affiliate link for those. They do come in this cute little carrying case. Suppose I should do that. Cute little plastic carrying case. There are 20 of these in the case. And they're great for cell phones and external solid state drives and different things of that nature. All right. And ouch. And the last item that I've got to share tonight. This is a USB Type A female to USB Type C on a, what is this, 5.5 inch cable. If you're trying to get into a small space or you've got a bunch of devices plugged in, this is very handy to have around. You can also use this for hooking up different devices to cell phones. And that cable is going for $8.99. So basically, in each of these cases, other than the dust plugs, I just thought those were novel and would be nice to have around. Each of these are going to be used either for working with Raspberry Pis or to just have in my tool bag that I take different places to do computer work. It is amazing what scenarios you run into when you are doing a little bit of side work. I don't do it very often anymore, but it does. These items do come in handy. So, and I'll paste in the Amazon link for that one as well. So yeah, tonight these items are all for this first part of the live stream. These items are all under $10 each. And you know, the utility, especially of the USB A to C and C to A adapters, come into play because I've got on my Mac Mini, it only has two USB/Thunderbolt Type C on the back of it, and two Type A. And I can use more of each of those to run all this equipment that I've got going here. So some of those adapters are going to stay here. Some of them are going to go in my tool bag, and I usually keep that in the car when I'm going different places, just in case I need something. So, yeah, that's that. Um, so let's see what everybody has to say in the chat, and then we'll get on with the second part of this, which might be even more fun, hopefully. Informational for sure. Like that SATA cable, I have a similar one somewhere, but that looks nicer. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with these. I actually kind of lifted this idea and some of these items from I think it's the guy that runs the Explaining Computers channel. Usually his stuff is a little basic for me, but I saw that he was covering this kind of thing, and so I kind of latched onto it. I thought that while there may be some overlap in the audiences, a lot of his links were Amazon UK links, and so I'm doing US links, Amazon US links. So that's the big difference there, and there were a couple of variations of devices as well. So I thought this would be kind of fun to do as something different for the Wednesday hardware related stream. Late, more flooding, 6th. High water river this year. Apparently, we have had 200% of the rain on average. Can you please stop sending all the weather systems from the U.S.? It actually hasn't been too bad over here. Maybe further on the East Coast, they've had some crazy weather, but here in Michigan, it hasn't been too bad. What are you using the coupler for? Right now, they're just going to go in my drawer of parts, but I thought something like that would be handy for hooking up cameras and not putting the extra strain plugging and unplugging the cable that comes with the camera. That way, if the coupler dies out on you, then you just replace the coupler and you're not constantly plugging and unplugging the slightly more fragile cable that a lot of cameras use, that at least my Sony does, that is micro HDMI to full size HDMI. Yes, the 4K or 8K ratings is overkill, but for the little bit of difference in cost, I wasn't going to buy the older ones. So, hello, Ashley. Welcome. Hopefully, you're keeping Mr. Josephus in line tonight. I think I covered each of the items. I hope I covered each item, what I'm going to use it for, or what I'm possibly going to use it for, anyways. This is relatively new. We got it on the last staff day that we did, and I got something on my fleece, so I had been wearing this one yesterday and today as I'm getting caught back up on laundry. So, and the two dark colored fleeces are going to be going into the washer after this stream is over. The Sony is on auto, yes. A couple of reasoning is super smart with the port on the camera. Yeah. I thought it was a clever idea. Again, it's not one of mine. The guy that runs the Explaining Computers channel, he's a British dude. At least I think he's British. He could be Australian. I'm not sure I can tell the accents apart. My bad on that. But yeah, he was the one that suggested it, and I thought, well, shoot, that's a pretty darn good idea. So, let's see. Yes, please hit the like button, everybody. Every little bit helps. We've got 5 guinea pigs in the audience tonight participating in chat. If anybody else is out there watching, you only have to be subscribed for 5 minutes to be able to talk to the peanut gallery, and they won't bite, I promise. I noticed the auto iris thing in the last couple live streams too. It's not a big deal though. Yeah, I have never had it set to anything other than auto. It's a fixed focus lens. I haven't really moved my lights, so I suppose one of the lights could be causing that, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'll have to talk to Mr. Joe offline and see if he can make any suggestions that might help with the issue. All right, so I wanted to get some feedback. As some of you know, I recently had a channel audit done by a guy on Fiverr. And one of the things he suggested was that I add some words related to my channel to the channel banner. So I did that this morning. I was really on a roll this morning getting some stuff done before I had to go to work. So I did that this morning. This is a first stab at it. I'm not 100% happy with it, but like I said, it's my first stab at it. I'm open to changing some things, but let's throw that up here on screen. And oh, that didn't work. Let's do this. So I thought that Linux virtualization and cross-platform software described pretty well what I do here on the channel. Like I said, I'm not married to the font. I'm not married exactly to the text location on either side of my logo. I'm open to suggestions, but this is a first stab at it. And so I thought I would just ask people what they thought or if they had suggestions. And yeah, I can keep changing this up a little bit as we go forward, and see what sticks. So if anybody has comments or constructive criticism, I will gladly take it. What happened to your room plans? You still going to get that new desk? Yes, the desk is actually out in the other room, still in the box. I got about 90% of the stuff moved around in this room that I wanted to move around. And so basically, I'm at the point where I need to take a day and clean off this desk, tear down all the computer stuff, the ATEM, the audio interface, take it all out of here, bring the box for the desk in, and get that desk put together. So, but I suspect that's going to be an all day affair. So it's probably going to be a Saturday thing, hopefully this week. The only thing I've got to do that's really on my agenda is I've got to take the device that Amazon shipped me in error to Staples to have it sent back to them, so I don't get a second charge for the item that I actually ordered the first time. So let's see. You could just set it to manual, Iris, since your lighting is always the same. Changes as you turn your head, glare off your glasses, maybe. That's possible. That's possible. I wonder if I run into the other room and grab my other pair of glasses, if that would make things any better. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. I don't have far to go. All right. Maybe. Well, let's take the comment back off screen. We'll put me back on. Is this better? Is anything happening when I turn my head with this pair of glasses on? I'm not opposed to wearing these. If this is going to be a better solution than the clear pair, then I will just make sure I wear these during live streams. So we'll try this and see if that issue keeps happening tonight or not. You could also clip the bits from the live stream with the connectors and upload as a video. Yeah, I've been uploading several shorts from last Saturday's stream on all the different special purpose Linux distributions. I've been uploading those as short clips. So, yeah. What does Linux virtualization, etc. mean? Well, Linux is an operating system like Windows or Mac OS that comes in many flavors. It can be customized for many different purposes. Virtualization is running a second computer on a computer, second or more multiples of that, using software such as VMware or Proxmox, things of that nature. And then cross-platform software means that it runs on more than one platform. So if a piece of software is cross-platform, it could run on Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. And sometimes even for those weird people that run BSD Unix. So that's what that means. Banner is better. If you're asking for opinions, make the words bigger. Put them on the same line at the top. Space them out. Okay. So, oops. So if I put them at the top, and I've got to sort of keep them the left edge where it's at, otherwise it won't show up on mobile. But I could put those both on both pieces of text on the top. I'm not sure how much I can really space them out. Just because where the L is the cutoff for the left edge of what will appear on mobile, and the E is the cutoff of the right edge of what will appear on mobile. That's why they're sort of where they're at. But if it would make sense to have them all on one line on top, I can do that. That's not a big deal. I'm not sure how much bigger I can make them. That's the $10 million question. That's a $10 million question. As I've said before, I'm no graphic designer, so give me just a moment here, and we'll see about making an adjustment. So go away. All right, so we'll zoom in. So that's a 36-point font. I can go up to 48. And then put this up here on top. And hopefully that will still all show up on the mobile banner. So, what do you think, Joe? Is that an improvement? I guess I can make that full screen there. Let's see. I think you need those words to be in line with practical IT, or add split Linux and virtualization, and then add a word to have symmetry. Well, the problem is if I do that, then it's going to be cut off. I like the idea, but there's a cutoff for what will be seen on mobile. And lately, I've seen an uptick in the number of people that are viewing on mobile. I mean, I can try this. We do that. Maybe. And see if that cuts it off. But I don't think there's room to add another word. So okay, so where'd that go? That should have gone into this one. Yeah, so this is what I'm working with, and is why I had them above the practical IT text, because it's going to be chopped on mobile. The blue lines are the guides. So the whole thing is viewable on TV. The whole middle line is viewable on desktop, and then the inner blue rectangle is viewable on mobile, or all devices is what it says. That's why I was trying to figure out a way to do this. But like I said, I'm not married to the wording. I'm not married to the size of things, but it does have that limitation, which is why I went with this in the beginning. But maybe it's a matter of having 4 words and putting one on the top and the bottom, and one on each side of the logo. So I'll leave it as it is right now, and mess around with it a little bit more later. So I do appreciate everybody's feedback. Maybe just say Proxmox. You only do Proxmox, no? So I've done VirtualBox stuff. I haven't been doing as much lately, but VirtualBox is really was foundational in the channel. So right now there are still a lot more VirtualBox videos out there than there are Proxmox videos. Maybe having, I don't know. Let's we do this. What if we did could do Linux. Proxmox. I'm not sure what I want to do with this. I mean, I could do I don't know. I'm not sure I like that as much. But left aligned. I don't know. Just playing. Just playing. But yeah, I will keep messing with it, and maybe it'll be one of those things where I put a few of them up as a graphical poll for people to vote on and go that route for a while. Um, um, do virtual box. We could do. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure I love it, but it's a step in the right direction, I guess. Um, all right, so let me see here. Um, can you put a hat on? I don't have any really decent looking hats anymore. Don't think it's the glasses. Okay. Maybe instead of cross-platform, you can really talk about FOSS. Yeah, that might be instead of software, since I got Proxmox and VirtualBox on there now. So let's take that off and. Yeah, so I've got the short words on the diagonal and the long words on the diagonal. I don't know. It's it's a work in progress. um, yeah, maybe instead of cross-platform, you really talk about FOSS. Yeah, a lot of times there's overlap there. It's hard because you don't want the words to get cut off on mobile. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid. Um, so um, it's it's one of those things. It's kind of difficult. Just had a look at your banner. The words on the right are at the edge, but there is a bit of room on the left of Linux. Put the words above one another, each side to make bigger. Right. Um, don't we forget to put graphic creation live in the banner. Well, Ashley, you did the real work. You created the logo. I'm tinkering. um, could you remove the comment as not see screen? Yeah, that's what I've got so far. Um, so yes, that's what I've been talking about. Well, there's only so much room to make the words bigger. So, yeah. Um, make your logo big, just the head, and put Linux and other words in the glasses. Oh no, that's an idea. That's an idea. I'll have to play with that because that's going to require some more work. That's going to require some more work. I don't necessarily want to do that part live, but yeah, I like that idea. I'll have to play with that and maybe get Linux and FOSS in the location of the lenses for my glasses. Um, that could work. That could work for sure. Um, All right. So, um, enough of this for a moment. We do want to keep the display there. Can I put myself up in the corner maybe? That'll work. Okay. The other thing I was going to look at before we move on is, nope, not that yet. Here we go. So I have been, for the last couple of weeks, I've been kind of going hard and heavy on the community tab. Maybe it's too much, but I kind of got on a roll scheduling stuff, and I just keep pushing it out. Nobody voted in the poll for the banner, but that's okay. I got your suggestions here, so that's all good. Maybe you could have a /Etsy as a pun on etc. and the Etsy folder in Linux. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I like the community posts. It's weird though; it doesn't show them in order. Huh? In my feed. Okay. That's good to know. I've never got that feedback before. Okay, so part 2 of tonight's stream is talking about something that I discovered about a week ago. And it just so happened that Mr. Joe made the suggestion to me that I cover this. And so we're going to go over sort of an overview. This kind of highlights what I know as of this point in time. And so we're going to talk about Meshtastic. And so some people have described Meshtastic as CB Radio 2.0. Make sure I am on screen. It uses LoRa, or Long Range Radio Protocol, without the need for an additional license or certification. Meshtastic radios can be paired with a single phone, allowing friends and family to send messages directly to your specific radio. It is an off-grid mesh radio system that operates at 915 megahertz here in the US, and 433 or 868 in Europe. And if you're somewhere else, please check the proper frequencies to use in your country. All right, so how do you use it? Well, you need a few things. First, you need a piece of Meshtastic kit of one variety or another. One such piece of kit is the LilyGo T-Deck, and if you are familiar with older phones, you might think that this resembles somewhat a BlackBerry device without the full case. This is one example of a standalone device. On other devices, you need to have an app on your cell phone or tablet and connect to the radio via Bluetooth. So this item is out of stock, but I will give you the link to it just the same, just in case you want to get on the waiting list. So this device has a 2.8 inch 320 by 240 pixel IPS LCD, a mini keyboard, an ESP32 dual core controller, please note it's not a smartphone, even though it looks like a BlackBerry. So yeah, there are cases available. From other sellers. If you look on Etsy, ETSY, in this case, you can find some cases for this device, and there are different things available for this. So that is one example. Another example is called the LilyGo T-Beam, and I've got an Amazon affiliate link for this. This is the US version, the 915 megahertz version. I'll drop that in. That in chat. As you can see in the picture here, this has an antenna, has a little screen. From what I've been reading about this device and listening to various YouTube personalities talking about Meshtastic, you will want to replace the antenna that comes with it with something that is a little more powerful. And this also requires an 18650 battery, and no, this is not the same as a AA battery. The 18650 batteries are typically used in battery packs in devices. So it's something that you'd have to source separately. And they do have here an 18650 battery charger set. It's similar to a AA, but it's got a flat top and bottom. So since I don't do like radio control cars and different things of that nature, I was not familiar with this type of battery. So I've been reading up on this stuff and trying to familiarize myself with it. So the other thing you'll need, in most cases, unless you go with that first device, the T-Deck, but with this particular device, the T-Beam, you will need an app on your cell phone or tablet. And then you would connect to this via Bluetooth. And then you need to find somebody that also has a Meshtastic device that you might be able to connect to that's within range. And that's where things get a little hit and miss here in the States. So, here is a map of the U.S. And as you can see, there are a bunch out in California. It's showing 68 on my screen. There's 5 up in Montana. There's 40 in the Chicago area, I guess you would call that. And then you get down into the southern states, and because I suspect you've got a bunch of preppers that think World War III is coming. That's why the numbers are higher down there. And of course, you get into the Washington, D.C., New York area, and going up the East Coast, you've got several. So, according to this map, there's only 2 operating radios in Michigan. None of them are very close to me. This one would be the closest. and that's near Battle Creek, which is probably 50 miles or more away from my location. There's a couple down by Toledo. Ooh. Zoom out. Yikes. Down in Toledo, you got some over in Ohio. And, up the East Coast. Now, where this really gets interesting is for those people that are across the pond. You come over here and I'll zoom that out just a little bit. So you're showing 7 in Ireland. And you've got 232 in Great Britain. So this is definitely, at this point in time, more popular for those folks across the pond. Maybe we can convince some of them to stop buying radios so us people here in the States can catch up. I'd like to get my hands on some equipment, but it's pretty scarce at the moment. That's the map. So what piqued my interest in Meshtastic and diving into this technology? Well, I started to see Meshtastic videos getting recommended to me on YouTube, and then Joe suggested it to me. I had been considering waiting until I had a device in hand to make a video on this topic, but it's probably going to be April or May before I will have something in my hands. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a bit of an overview on this subject. So, right now, with the exception of the T-Beam that's on Amazon, a lot of the Meshtastic gear from Rockland, which is basically the main supplier other than Amazon, and they have more of a variety, honestly, it's out of stock. I have added my email to the notify list with Rockland, so maybe I can get something in the April or May timeframe. And, if I've got to be the guinea pig in the area, then I'll be the guinea pig in the area and test this out. So what can you use it for? Well, it's mainly for off-grid, meaning not connected to standard broadcast radio or TV or the internet in many cases. Off-grid text messaging. So if, something were to happen, this would be, along with ham radio equipment and potentially CB radio equipment, this would be a way that people could continue to communicate. All right, so where can you find more information? Well, the channel I found that seems the most knowledgeable, at least for people here in the U.S., is called the Comms Channel. And they've got a bunch of videos out here on everything from getting started to doing different things with Meshtastic, even programming it with Python, hiding your location. There's some advanced videos. You've got several different devices that they've played with on here. There's some solar-powered systems. You name it, these guys have pretty much covered it. So this is probably the channel that I would recommend, at least for people here in the States operating on the 915 megahertz frequency. There are several in the UK. There are at least one or two in Australia. There are probably a few in other countries. I'm focusing on English-speaking countries, so your mileage may vary. But if you're here, you probably speak English. Or you're translating it into some other language and following along. So the last thing I've got on this is the Meshtastic website itself. And this, excuse me, this has a rundown from getting started in 3 steps. It's got a fairly extensive documentation section, complete with diagrams, which I find helpful. It reinforces what I've seen in other videos, but to see it laid out like this is helpful for me. They've got a getting started section, and they talk about different devices, and you've got to be careful. You want to look at specific versions of these devices. So, you know, this is one case where you may, again, if you're here in the States, you may be better off ordering from Rockland over Amazon. Simply because with Rockland, this is more of their specialty, and they include in the description of their devices the version that you are getting. Whereas Amazon's listings for this type of stuff tends to be a little more vague. So, just something to keep in mind. I'm assuming that as production ramps up in China, later in the spring, we'll get a few more shipments of the equipment, and hopefully I can get my fingers on some and be able to use it. So I've got a few people here locally that may be interested in something like this, and I'm just going to have to reach out to them and see if they're willing to invest a few dollars to potentially help me test some stuff. Again, I am no radio engineer, so this is all going to be a little trial and error on my end, but I may be enlisting the help of TVJ because being in the TV industry, he should probably know a little bit more about antennas than I do, and might just be the person to talk with on this. So that's my talk on Meshtastic. So let me catch up with the chat and see what's going on. World War III is coming. Some would say it's already here. Cyber attacks are the new warfare. Yeah, tell that to Putin. Talk about a megalomaniac. Haley mentioned being worried about World War III. So the one of the channels out of the UK, I believe, was mentioning that they had the signal travel several hundred kilometers. All I can say and repeat is what I've seen in videos and in a little bit of documentation that I've been through. But I think it would be interesting to do some testing with this stuff. Guinea pig, are you even Italian? No, I, at least as far as I know, I don't have any Italian heritage. Don't forget GMRS. Suggest getting that license, no tests. Then you can use radios up to 50 watts with repeaters. Not as good as ham, but much easier to get into. GMRS is an acronym I don't think I've ever been exposed to, Joe. Also, it's not illegal to buy, own, or listen to ham radio, only to transmit without a license. The exception is if there is an emergency, so owning a ham radio isn't a bad idea. Right. How I understand Meshtastic, if I want to send a message a state away, that message would bounce through every radio from me to the other person in the other state. Yes, providing there are enough people using the technology. I know some things about antennas. One of my engineers is a ham radio guy and knows way more than I do. Well, you might have to poke and prod him until he shows up to one of these live streams and hangs out with us, and or maybe he would be interested in being a guest either on your channel or mine, and then we can pick his brain, so to speak. All right. Give me just a second here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I've got 10:43 p.m. according to my clock on the computer, and as I was saying before I unmuted myself, it is 49 freedom units here in Michigan, in my area. All right. So, did you mention how much bandwidth this can do? You're talking like dial-up speeds. I don't know if I've seen a number for that specifically. Let me take a look here. Maybe I can find a number. Let's see. Take off the comment. I'll put myself back in the corner. Let's see. Say past year. So, Meshtastic for the greater good. I'm not seeing. I believe it was rated in kilobit per second. But I'm not sure where I saw that number at. So, um, so just looking up LoRa speed, it can achieve data rates of between zero point 0.3 kilobits per second and 27 kilobits per second. So that's of course from Wikipedia. So take it with a grain of salt. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm not a radio engineer in any sense of the word or phrase, I suppose. Um, so this is all still pretty new to me, and I suspect um, that a lot of people are going to be in the same boat. Um, so yeah, dial up speeds, dial up for sure. So we can all travel back to 1995 and uh, relive the old days, right? Okay, so we've got 6 people watching. Um, you're going to need a few 18650s to use it a lot, and solar charger or converter from 12 volts. Yes. Um, since I don't have a complete understanding of exactly what I'm going to need, I didn't add that kind of stuff into my notes for tonight. Um, I am planning between now and the time I can actually order this stuff to sit through a bunch more Meshtastic videos and read through their documentation and try to fill in knowledge gaps that absolutely exist at this point in time. Um, they did not cover this in my undergraduate or my master's program, so this is going to be uncharted territory for me, and it's going to be interesting to play with. So it's made for comms, not bandwidth. Absolutely. Minimum needed to get words across. Yep. And the more hops, just like in Wi-Fi mesh system, the more hops it has to go over, the slower it's going to be, and the more it's going to be delayed. So you know it's not going to be a perfect system, but if the mainstream communication methods are taken out, I wouldn't mind having something like this around, just to be able to have some communication with people. But yes, like my C Prince mentioned, um, once I get the basics down, I'm definitely going to be looking at an outdoor antenna mounted to the deck and a solar build, so that I don't have to have it constantly powered inside, or um, to keep swapping batteries. So I should, in the location I'm at right now, I should get enough sunlight coming in to charge it most of the time. On particularly snowy days during the winter, maybe not so much. But knock on wood, this has been a very mild winter, all things considered. So, uh, any other questions, comments, suggestions? Um, I'm thinking I'll wrap this up right around 11 p.m. Eastern. That way I can get a couple things done here yet tonight before I turn in and have to get up and go back to work in the morning. So just for the sake of argument, and I did post it in the community on the community page for the channel. The next live stream will be Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. And I'm not sure. I don't think I've got necessarily have a topic picked out for that one yet. Let me verify that. I do not have a topic picked out for that yet. I've got a few ideas, but yeah, that's I'll probably be doing the thumbnail and putting in the description and all that fun stuff tomorrow before I head into work, and hopefully I remember to make it public. And when I hit the save button, it actually saves. So, yeah, the next stream will be on Saturday, and then at this point in time, then we'll do Saturday afternoon and Sunday evening. So that's the plan at the moment. Snow isn't a problem with solar. Been off grid for 35 years now, and nowadays solar is easy. Okay, good to know. I've still got a lot to learn on off-grid living and off-grid comms and all this kind of stuff, but it seems like this might be a good time to start learning it. Gives me something that's not quite as computer intensive to do, and it's always good to expand one's horizons a little bit. But yeah. So the new internet connection is holding up just fine. Before I went live, my speed test was getting me 950 megabit download and 21.5 up, which things have been looking pretty stable tonight. So I think things are going well and moving in the right direction since I switched internet providers. So, but yeah, that's that. So let me go ahead and just make myself full screen again. Interesting. All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts for the night? I'm going to do a last call. We've got about 6 minutes before 11 o'clock, and then I will start wrapping this up, and then I can start prepping for the next live stream. I do have a couple of shorts coming out tomorrow. These are just clips from Saturday's live stream. Also, worth noting, I guess I can bring this in one more time. Also worth noting is that Let's see, that was live. So this one right here, I did spend about 40 minutes this morning putting timestamps in this video. So they're in the description. They're also pinned as the first comment on the video. So if people want to go back through this and hit specific parts of the video, they can do that a little more easily than just scrubbing through 2 hours worth of footage. So that's I guess the other thing that I had to talk about briefly here. Check out EFB lead acid batteries. EFB lead acid batteries. Enhanced flooded batteries. All right. Dun, dun, dun. What you need to know about EFBs. I think this is going to be a good place to start reading about it. So do as long form videos, do titles as for search, right? So yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of these technologies that I'm going to have to spend some time familiarizing myself with and asking questions of the audience for reference materials and things, just so I can try to get up to speed on it. Yeah, this will be some good reading, and they've even got case studies up here, so that will be kind of interesting. So, but yeah, so once I actually have my hands on some devices, I will be doing some long form Meshtastic videos, because, hey, there could probably use to be a couple more people in the U.S. covering this technology. And why not me? So, why not me? So, and it might turn into something that I could help other people in the area get started with if I learn enough about it. So, EFB lead acid easy cycle 200 times versus standard at 80 cycles. All right. That is good information to know. Cost about 50% more than standard. Gotcha. Is that before the crazy value added tax that you guys have over in the UK? Maybe the library will let you put an antenna on top. That would be something. Now, I will say that the library is only about 8 or 10 miles from where I live, depending on which route I take to get there. So line of sight might be a possibility. There are a few hills in between here and there, but I don't know. I might get a couple of devices and see if I can leave a battery powered device in one of the windows on the second floor for a couple of days and do some testing. It may be an interesting little proof of concept, I guess. And they last longer. Good to know. Jacob, you came in just as we're kind of winding things down. Hopefully you'll go back and watch through some of this rambling tonight. We spent the first part of the stream talking about some gadgets and tech items that are under $10 a piece, and then we turned our topic over to Meshtastic off-grid radio communication, which I became aware of about a week ago, and it seems kind of interesting. I'm very interested in playing with it, and for trying out a few things with it. I know there are people that have set up message queuing, MQTT, with Meshtastic for sending information about smart homes, or at least temperature and humidity sensors. So that might be one of those interesting projects that I might take a stab at as equipment becomes available, because a lot of it's out of stock at the moment. Story of my life. But yeah, I think this will be interesting, and hopefully not too much of a tangent to cover on the channel. Let's see. I just bought 2 EFB, total 200 amp hour, cost 260 pounds, including 20% VAT. Nice. I use MQTT for most of my sensor data in my DIY home automation system. Yeah, I've played with MQTT for some home assistant stuff. It's kind of fun, for sure. I really only scratched the surface of it. It's something that I would like to revisit, but it really wasn't difficult to get going. So I think some of the people I was working with on this project were a little surprised that I found MQTT and I got it running as quick as I did, because up to that point in time I had never worked with it. So, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. All right. On that note, I should probably wrap this up for the night. It's 11:03 here in the Eastern Time Zone. There's a couple things I want to get done yet tonight before I try to get a few hours of sleep and then get up and go back to work tomorrow. So, on that note, thank you all for coming in. Again, my apologies for the little mishap with the stream not being public at the beginning. I will keep a better eye on that for Saturday's stream and make sure that the change sticks this time. So, let's see, we did that one. So one thing, I've never managed to crash a single time in 10 plus years. Well, that's good. 12 volt, a 150 watt panel, and a good MPPT will do it. More solar, say 2 by 150, or a big household panel. Very nice. Entertaining as usual. Have a good night. All right, everybody. On that note, thank you again for coming in, and spread the word. 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And with that, I will see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.